Hello, YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. Good evening to all of you in YouTubeland. I do hope and pray that you and yours are happy and healthy and safe and well. Right now, the time is approximately 9:12 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. This is the part 2 of books that I am currently reading. And sure enough, one of the books that I was currently reading in part 1, I finished reading, and that is Genteel Spirits, the 5th book in the Daisy Gum Majesty Mysteries, which is a lovely series, a lovely cozy mystery series that I am so enamored by. So anyway, I mentioned in the previous video that one of the books that I'm reading is one of 2 books that is an annual thing. So this is the other book that I'm reading that is an annual thing, and of course, yes, there will be close-ups. It is A Year of Positive Thinking, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage by Cindy Spiegel. And I'm going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person, do a close-up of the cover of the book. I love this book because I really dig having a book that I can work with the entire year. And I'm just going to read, I'm going to read October 4th because that is today's date. So October 4th, the sun always peeks through. The rain will come and so will the rainbows. Trust that no matter the storm, you can weather it. And know that no matter how bad a situation may seem, the sun will always find its way through. I love books like these. To me, this is a true inspirational book. Not an inspo book, by the way, an inspirational book. There is a difference. When I first heard the word inspo, I'm like, what the fuck is inspo? And then I found out it's short for inspiration. Inspo? Okay. Even though inspiration is spelled I-N-S-P. You know what? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Okay. So let me put this book over here. And, of course, speaking of cozy mysteries, A Whisker of Trouble by Sophie Ryan. Sophie Ryan is also known as Sophie Kelly. As Sophie Ryan, she writes the Second Chance Cat Mysteries. As Sophie Kelly, she writes the Magical Cats Mysteries. And I'm going to quickly read the synopsis. Oh, A Whisker of Trouble. Let me have Drake do a close-up. This is the 3rd in the Second Chance Cat Mysteries. And I really love these. I love the fact that the main character, who is truly a character, is a black cat named Elvis. And the reason why he's named Elvis is not because he shares my birthday, January 8th, but because he was hanging around a bar set in this place that was playing rock and roll music by Elvis Presley. So, spring has come to charming North Harbor, Maine, and with the new season comes a new haul for Sarah Grayson's shop, Second Chance, where she sells lovingly refurbished and repurposed items. Sarah is turning her keen eye to the estate of collector Edison Hall, hoping for fabulous finds for Second Chance. But when her rescue cat Elvis discovers a body in the kitchen, everything goes paws up. The body belongs to an appraiser who was hired to check out Edison's wine collection. When Edison's sister shows up at Second Chance, she hires Sarah's friends, the kooky and charismatic trio of ladies who call themselves Charlotte's Angels. Yes, they're a detective agency that is woman-powered and woman-run. And they're all senior citizens. And let me tell you, they are a hoot. They're a hoot. Charlotte's Angels are a hoot and a half. And a bag of chips. Anyway, and work out of the shop. To solve the murder, Sarah knows she and Elvis are only going to get deeper into the case. But as it becomes a cat and mouse game of lies, cons, cheats, and family squabbles, can Elvis and Sarah claw their way to the truth before the killer slinks away forever? Dun 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 dun. It's been a while since I've done that. I dig these. I actually love these even more than the Magical Cats Mysteries. I know it's hard to believe because, you know, the witch who lives with cats would absolutely love a magical cat themed cozy mystery. I do love the Magical Cats Mysteries by Sophie Kelly. I do love. But I find I connect with this one even more. I don't know what it is. I just really dig it. I really dig it. But I do love both cozy mystery series very much. I actually alternate. So since this is the third one, I already read the third one of the Magical Cats Mysteries by Sophie Kelly. So after I finish reading this one, I'm going to have the fourth in the Magical Cats Mysteries by Sophie Kelly. Same person, just different surnames, as my next to read list, as my next to read book. Speaking of cats, we have Time Cat by Lloyd Alexander. This combines two of my favorite themes, black cats and time travel. And for the record, this is kind of like a young adult book. But what I love is that there is, I'll read the synopsis. So essentially, he doesn't have 9 lives, it's true, but Gareth the cat is far from ordinary. For one thing, he can talk. What's more, he has magical powers that even Jason hasn't dreamed of. Anywhere, anytime, any country, any century, Gareth tells Jason he can take them traveling through time. And in a single wink of the eye, he does. From ancient Egypt to Japan, from the land of young Leonardo da Vinci to the town of a woman accused of witchcraft, Jason and Gareth are whisked from place to place and friend to foe. Full of excitement, discovery, and a world of intriguing history, Time Cat takes the imagination on an unforgettable ride into 9 amazing adventures in life. The author's name is Lloyd Alexander, and the chapters focus on Egypt, of course, 2700 BCE, Rome and Britain, 55 BCE. By the way, BCE is the non-religious equivalent is the non-religious form of BC, because BC stands for before Christ, whereas BCE stands for before Common Era. Same thing with AD. AD means Anno Domini, as in the year of our Lord. It's Latin. But the non-religious equivalent is ACE, after Common Era. So, Ireland, 411 ACE, Japan, 998, or rather 998 ACE, Italy, 1468, Peru, 1555, the Isle of Man, 1588, Germany, 1600, turn of the century, and the United States of America, 1775. And guess what? The witch story is not in America. Who'd have thunk that? So I'm digging this, and I'm doing my best to slowly savor it. I'm kind of losing, but that's okay. Now, as some of you know, and as I mentioned in part 1 of this video series, which is not really a video series, it's more like a duology, I did mention that I have not made New Year's resolutions for more than a decade. However, I will make promises to myself. And one of the promises I made to myself for 2022, the year of options and opportunities and a lover's card year, is that I would read more LGBTQIA+ literature. And one of the books that falls into that category is The Killer Wore Leather by Laura Antonou. And I'm going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person, for my YouTube videos, do a close-up of the cover of this book. Now, for the record, I haven't started reading this book yet, and I don't remember where I purchased this book. Part of me wants to say that I had purchased it at one of the Rainbow Book Fairs, but I might have purchased it at one of the Flame Cons. I honestly do not recall. But here's the synopsis. Many people wanted Max Steel, like they wanted him, like, come here, daddy. You know, like a hubba hubba kind of thing, like a bow chicka wow wow thing. But who wanted him dead? I'm finding out it's a long list. In Manhattan's Grand Sterling Hotel, home of the annual Mr. and Mrs. Global Leather Contest, last year's hunky but haughty winner lies dead on the floor of his suite, mysteriously wearing only a pair of frilly, bright yellow panties. Ooh, how spicy. Cormac Mac Steele made a lot of enemies during the year wearing the studded leather sash, not the least being his co-winner, Mistress Raven Fire. Fire spelled F-Y-R-E. Progressive, I love it. But she is not alone. There are over 3,000 attendees from all over the world at this year's event, some of whom had very personal issues with the fallen leather world's royalty. Enter Detective Rebecca Fieldbloom. Or is it Fieldblum? I'm going to say Fieldbloom for now, but my Jewish friends, feel free to correct me. It's spelled capital F as in Frank, E-L, D as in David, B as in Barry, L-U-M as in Mary. So Feldblum. But is it Feldblum or Feldblum? Let me know in the comments. Who must navigate a world of doms and subs, dominators or dominatrices and submissives, masters and mistresses, pups and trainers, leather, latex, and lingerie, to discover who murdered the late Max Steele, and hopefully do it before the weekend is over and everyone goes home. Hailed as 50 Shades of Funny, The Killer Wore Leather is a murder mystery only Laura Antonou could write. In addition to the million-selling Marketplace series of erotic novels, Laura's work has been translated into Spanish, German, Hebrew, Japanese, and Korean. She resides in New York City. I have had this book for a few years, and I decided this would be the year that I finally begin reading it. Pardon me, I just need to... Okay, nose taken care of, and now, continuing along the LGBTQIA plus literature category, we have The Satyr's Kiss by Storm Fairy Wolf, forward by Christopher Penczak. Queer men, sex magic, and modern witchcraft. And I must admit, there are several people on YouTube that I think about them every time I see this book. Levi of Masculine Intuition Readings, Martin of Martin's Musings, formerly of Tarot in the City, and there are a few other people that I think of with this book. Spells, rituals, and exercises that celebrate queer sexuality and identity. Satisfy the passion in your soul with a queer-centered exploration of magical philosophy, history, rites of passage, and sex magic. This practical guide empowers everyone who identifies as male to take his rightful place at the center of his own universe, honoring the unique qualities that set him apart from the mainstream. Emphasizing the importance of sexuality and witchcraft, this book features a variety of methods for celebrating sex in a magical way. Sharing an abundance of spells and rituals, Storm Fairy Wolf helps you improve everything from communication and confidence to romance and sexual protection. This book also provides exercises related to initiation, gender polarity, sex with spirits, celebrating pride, and more. The Satyr's Kiss shows you what it means to live fully in your unique, queer, and magical spirit. Fairy Wolf has blazed a new trail for exploring the craft that speaks directly to the queer male experience in a refreshingly inclusive way. This said by Tomas Prower, author of Queer Magic. And about Mr. Fairy Wolf. Storm Fairy Wolf is an author, teacher, poet, and professional warlock. I know a lot of us have a thing about the word warlock. That is how he prefers to be described. I completely respect him for it. He is a regular contributor to modernwitch.com and is a founding teacher of Black Rose, an online school of modern folkloric witchcraft. He has written several books, including Betwixt and Between and Forbidden Mysteries of Fairy Witchcraft. Visit him at fairywolf.com. And I'm going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person, do a close-up of the photograph of Mr. Fairy Wolf himself. Pardon me. And I want to tell you, I really was immediately drawn to this book. This book, excuse me one moment. You'd think I was doing a reading with all this talking. When I first found out about this book, I absolutely was immediately drawn to it. I resonated with it immediately. And I also felt that it would help me heal any emotional wounds and any sexual wounds that I have as a gay man. I also felt that it would help me connect more deeply and more completely with other gay men, magically, sexually, and non-sexually. I will say that primarily my reason for buying this book was because I've always admired Storm Fairy Wolf, and I've always admired Christopher Penczak. And I don't have a lot of Storm Fairy Wolf's books. In fact, this is my first one. The draw was that the foreword was written by Christopher Penczak. And for the record, I've known both of them for several years. I actually remember meeting Christopher Penczak at a pagan festival called Between the Worlds. Now, for the record, last time I checked, there are 2 Between the Worlds pagan festivals, but there's only one that is for men who love men. That is the one that is located in northeastern Ohio and is offered by Green Fairy Grove. And the other Between the Worlds, to my knowledge, is not exclusively for men who love men, but it is run by, or rather co-run, or run by Ivo Dominguez Jr. Ivo Dominguez Jr. is probably one of the more well-known male names in modern magic and witchcraft authors. I haven't met him, but I did meet Christopher Penczak. I don't think I ever met or had any direct interactions with Storm Fairy Wolf, but I distinctly remember he had spent a lot of time on his phone during one of the 3 Between the Worlds that I had attended. And I didn't know why at the time, because I knew that all of the facilitators and at Between the Worlds recommended that everybody unplug as much as possible. But I think that at the time he was running a metaphysical store, and I don't know if he still does, and I believe that at the time it was both a physical store, like a brick and mortar location, and an online store, or the online store hadn't started happening yet. I don't remember offhand, but I never had a direct interaction with him. I do love his energy. I love the way he writes. I have found a few articles of his. As a matter of fact, the thumbnail photograph that I found for the Divine Diversity Tarot deck by Joe Phillips was part of an article that, a review that Storm Fairy Wolf had written for that particular tarot deck. And I loved the way he wrote the article. And I definitely look forward to doing a deeper dive into this book. I really feel that this book is going to help me a great, great deal. And last but not least, the two other books that I'm currently reading are tarot themed. So the first one is Carnival Tarot by Jory Strong, and I'm going to have Drake do a close-up of the cover. And I first discovered this book at my beloved Borders. I miss that chain bookstore. I mean, even to this day, more than a decade later, I call it my beloved Borders, and how I wish I could go back. I mean, I could go back to where they were, but there's nothing there. So, there used to be a publishing house called Allora's Cave, capital ELLORA''S, Allora's Cave. And I really enjoyed the few Allora's Cave novels that I read. But of course, this one I began reading, and then at some point I discovered my copy had gotten destroyed. I'm not going to mention names, but somebody peed on it. You know who you are, and I'm leaving it at that. Repeatedly peed on it, and you know who you are. So I'm reading it from the beginning all over again. And what I love is that all three stories begin with a reading. Sarah L's reading, Keziah's reading, Dakota's reading. And I want to tell you, I really dig this. I really dig this. It's not every day that a tarot lover such as myself finds a piece of fiction, a work of fiction that features tarot as the central theme. And then we have Tarot Rituals, Ceremonies, Ideas, and Experiences for the Tarot Lover by Nancy C. Antonucci. And of course, I'm going to have Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, do a close-up of the cover of this book. Now, this image may look familiar to you because this is the High Priestess card from the Heaven and Earth Tarot, which is not listed here, but I know that I reviewed it earlier this year. I know it's in here someplace, but So I remember when I saw this High Priestess, to me she looked more like Mother Mary than the goddess more commonly known as Isis. And even looking at her now, she does look and feel more like Mother Mary to me, or Mary the Blessed Mother, than she does the goddess more commonly known as Isis. I really have been slowly savoring this book because there is so much in this book. This book is roughly 214 pages, and I'm currently on chapter 2, Helpful Fundamentals, but there's so much to this book. There really is so much, and I really want to savor this book because there's so much to explore, there's so much to learn, there's so much to relearn, and I'm surprised the heat is going on, but then again, I shouldn't be surprised. So I want to tell you, I'm really digging this book, and this is definitely a book that I do not plan on finish reading until sometime in 2023. It's that involved, it's that abundant with information. It may be 212 books or 214 pages, but the information is as vast as a book that's 400 pages long. So I definitely want to slowly savor this book. So those are all the books that I'm currently reading, part 2. And I'm pretty sure that there will be more books that I will begin reading and conclude reading. I really don't plan on making this an ongoing series. Like, I'm not going to have a part 3, part 4, part 19, part 27. It's like, this is for now. Maybe next year I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do a series of books that I have currently on the to-be-read list, or the to-be-read stack in my case. But that would be a long series of videos. That's like at least 5 or 6 videos at this point. Because generally speaking, right now I have 3 stacks, 3 towers of books to be read. And I really don't want to spend time and energy doing that kind of a series. I'm sure some of you would be like, oh, I want to see that. If like at least 10 of you say that, then maybe I'll do 1 or 2 and we'll see what happens. But of course, I want to thank all of the authors for writing these books. I want to thank the illustrators for those that supplied illustrations. I want to thank the publishing houses that published these books. I want to thank the places that sell these books, both in person and online. And I want to thank those of you out there in YouTube land who buy these books. And if any of you are reading any of these books, let me know in the comments. And if any of you want to suggest any books, let me know in the comments. And of course, thank you so much to all of you in YouTube land for honoring who I am and what I do, and for honoring Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos. Thank you so much for all the likes, for all the comments, for all the shares, for all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel, and of course, thank you to those of you who have scheduled your sessions, and thank you to the lovely individual who surprised me by buying me a coffee earlier today. So if I see more coffees, then you're gonna see more live streaming videos on my YouTube channel for yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch. Have a good night, have a wonderful week, and stay tuned for the next video.